My entitled niece demanded her inheritance, until the lawyer read her dead father's brutal employment trap. My brother passed in March after 2 years of illness. We had built a business together for 26 years. A regional supply company, nothing glamorous, but solid. Profitable. Ours. My brother had 2 kids. His son Terrence, 32, who had worked in our warehouse since he was 19 and now ran our logistics division with a competence that made me proud in a way I never said out loud enough. And his daughter Marisol, 34, who had not held a job since a brief stint at a boutique 8 years ago that ended when she decided retail was not aligned with her energy. Marisol had a theory about her future. She shared it often. When Dad's money comes through, she'd say, like it was a pension plan, like it was a direct deposit arriving on a schedule. She said it at Christmas. She said it at birthday dinners. She said it to her boyfriend Raphael, who had apparently been making financial decisions of his own based on a number Marisol had quoted him with full confidence. When my brother got sick, Terrence restructured his entire schedule. He handled the business during the week, drove his father to appointments on Thursdays, and spent most Saturdays at the house doing whatever needed doing. Groceries, yard work, paperwork, company. He never once mentioned what he stood to inherit. I'm not sure it occurred to him as a relevant consideration. Marisol visited 4 times in 2 years. I counted because I was there for most of them. Each visit lasted an afternoon. One of those visits, she asked my brother if he'd updated his documents recently. He was on oxygen at the time. I asked her to step outside with me. She said she was just being organized. The funeral was on a Wednesday. Terrence wore his father's watch. Marisol arrived late, complimented nobody's flowers, and asked me near the food table how quickly estates typically settled. Give it a week, I said, keeping my voice flat. I'm just asking, she said. The meeting with the attorney was the following Monday. Terrence came straight from the warehouse in his work jacket. He sat down, folded his hands, and waited. Marisol arrived 4 minutes late in new shoes, sat across from the attorney, and looked at the documents on the table like they were a formality she was graciously allowing. That's when she said it. We all know how this ends, so let's just do the signatures. The attorney, a precise woman named Claudette, looked at her once and then looked at me. I nodded. Claudette read every line. My brother had left his personal savings and the family home to me as his surviving business partner and sibling, with the instruction that I use it to settle his remaining private debts and cover my own retirement, after which any remainder would transfer to his children equally. Marisol sat up. What does equally mean exactly? Claudette explained. And the business? Marisol pressed. The company valuation that gets split between us, right? Terrence and I, 50-50? Claudette turned a page. That's when the room temperature changed. My brother had restructured his ownership stake 18 months before he died. He had transferred 51% of his shares to Terrence directly, citing sustained operational contribution, and left the remaining 49 to be divided, with one condition attached to Marisol's portion. Claudette read the condition aloud without inflection. Marisol's share would be held in trust. To access it, she had to demonstrate 4 consecutive years of full-time employment, verified annually. Any year she failed to meet the requirement, that year's distribution would roll to a charitable fund my brother had designated. After the 4-year window, whatever remained unclaimed transferred to Terrence permanently. Silence. Then Marisol's voice, high and tight. He can't do that. That's not legal. You can't put conditions on what someone inherits. He can, Claudette said simply. He did. This is because of Terrence, Marisol snapped, turning to me. You two always protected him. Dad never saw me clearly. I was always the one who had to fight for. Marisol, I said quietly, just her name. She stopped. I looked at her for a moment. She looked like someone who had been certain about something for years and had just watched that certainty walk out of the room. Your father saw you clearly, I said. That's why he wrote it this way. Raphael, I later heard, was unhappy about the revised timeline. Marisol apparently had some explaining to do. Terrence took over as majority partner the following month. He hasn't changed much about how we operate. He doesn't need to. He already knew how everything worked. He learned by showing up.